Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do another sketchbook tour of a sketchbook I did back in 2022. And this one might be a little bit different than my usual sketchbooks because it was also part of an art challenge back then. This is called a daily doodle diary. And the goal for this one was to create a small drawing or a painting or doodle or whatever you want every day for a whole year. And I didn't come up with this idea myself. I actually came across this idea in a video from Myriam Tillson. Myriam Tillson is one of my favorite artists here on YouTube, and you should definitely also check her video and her channel out as well. I really love her work, and after seeing the idea for such a book, I just decided to do it myself as well because I love it so much. And now let me show you the results. The way I approached this challenge has actually changed over the year. At the beginning, it was important for me to keep track of the days I finished and the ones I didn't finish, and just focus on the goal of drawing or creating something every day, since that was the name of the challenge. I always marked the days I finished with a yellow marker in the overview calendar at the beginning of the book. It also felt pretty productive, I have to say. Like you already achieved something early in the day, or you can finish your day with a nice little sketch. That's nice. But there were, of course, also days where I didn't draw in the sketchbook. Although I have to say that a day that isn't filled in this book doesn't necessarily mean that I haven't drawn at all that day. Sometimes I was just working on something else in a different sketchbook or working on a bigger painting, but so these days won't be counted in that list, but that's fine. And there were definitely also days where I didn't draw at all, either because I didn't have the capacity to also draw in this diary or just forgot about it. And that's normal. At some point around August, I even stopped tracking the days until the challenge was over. I added the yellow days you have seen in the calendar before afterwards for the sake of an overview, since I already started counting, but during the challenge it wasn't important to me anymore. But I'll get to that later. To give me the option to also work with acrylics in this book and not only pens and colored pencils, I also decided to add an additional piece of paper every other page. Although the original paper of this book is quite thin, it is also quite sturdy, even when you work with acrylics. At the beginning and the end of the book, I also did some testing and experiments regarding that case that you probably saw as well. I did some testing pages, you can say. But to be on the safer side, and because I didn't want the drawings to also shine or bleed through the next page, I decided to add extra paper. That way I had kind of a double page most of the time. One page for pens and pencils and one for acrylics. Sometimes I also added paper on both sides when I knew I wanted to create a drawing that would fill both pages and go over 2 days. I really like that flexibility and want to encourage you to alter your sketchbooks any way you like. You can't really go wrong with that, in my opinion. Overall, the things I've drawn in this book vary a lot, and I really mean a lot. From still life over animal and plant studies, sketches and scribbles or doodles, and also some abstract paintings, everything's in there. And I really love that because it's a mix of everything I want to create. At the moment, I'm testing out giving my sketchbooks different but specific purposes, like this one is for figure drawing, this one is for concept sketches, etc. And by the way, I already realized it's not possible for me to separate these things completely, and I think that that's a good thing. But it still helps me being more organized with what I draw and when, so I'm going with it at the moment. The thing is, I also like to keep some sketchbooks like this one, where you can just draw what comes to your mind without thinking about it too much. And I think that that's a really good thing when it comes to sketchbooks. I didn't have a specific motive in mind every day, so some of the pages just refer to an emotion I had that day, for example. the way I was feeling, or just an item that was next to me. Just a moment that I wanted to capture. I mean, at some days I also try to come up with an actual concept or idea that I might explore in the future, but only when I felt like it. There are some concepts in this book that I'd like to develop in the future and turn into an actual drawing or painting or whatever, and there are too many to name every single one in this book. The thing is that I also already have tons of other ideas and projects already that I'm working on right now. I really don't know how to keep up with the ideas. I just have more ideas than I can draw. But they don't leave. They are in this book now, so I can revisit them whenever I want to. Don't need to draw everything at once. It was also interesting to see my style or motive choices develop and change over time. Also being more colorful at some points and dark and heavy at other points. I like these changes a lot. And I also like the mixture of, actually nice or pretty developed sketches and some random doodle or smiley or whatever. For example, when I was traveling, I sometimes just had a few minutes or seconds for a drawing or sketch, and maybe I didn't have my drawing equipment with me, so I just doodled with a pen or so that I came across. And for some reason that was quite relaxing for me at times. Not every page has to be a masterpiece or a developed concept sketch. I think this mix makes it much more realistic and also kind of likable and happy in a way. Around August, I decided not to draw at all for a while, because that was the time of the year that our wedding preparations became more and more important and just had a higher priority for me, and I really wanted to give myself that time. Maybe I could have managed to fit a daily scribble in the book in between the days now and then, but I asked myself, why? I mean, what would these drawings mean? It just would have added an unnecessary layer of stress and expectation, and so I really decided to take a step back and left the book intentionally untouched for a while. This helped me to get out of my head and reduce some potential stress in an actually really nice time of the year. And that's actually an important point in my opinion that can be said in any art challenge. You don't need to stress yourself if you can't finish it to 100%. And I know it always sounds so easy to say, just don't stress yourself out about it too much. Because sometimes you just can't help it. I myself am not free from that as well. Sometimes you just feel a bit guilty when you didn't finish something you said you would. But on the other hand, I also know that life happens and we are no robots, so it's okay to fall behind sometimes. And being okay with that is a very nice skill that I'm currently teaching myself as well, Just take life a little bit slower. I know that drawing every day is actually a nice habit as well that brings a lot of benefits with it, and this challenge definitely can help you building that habit. But I also didn't want these drawings to feel like a chore. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes they actually did, and I had this voice in my head saying, "Oh no, you still haven't drawn today, you still have to do that, You know what I mean? But over time, and especially after August, this feeling went away more and more, because I allowed myself to take a step back. I didn't have that high expectations anymore and was doing it most of the time just for fun again. In a way, this book also turned into a bit of an inspiration exercise and a diary as well, I guess you could say. I mean, after all, that's actually the name of the book, it's a diary. And you will notice that there are some pages where I taped something in, like a tea or sweets packaging or a leaf or something similar. When I didn't draw, I sometimes decided to tape in just a small reminder in my book that, reminds me of what happened that day. And it also kind of shows very well how this book, that started out as an exercise and kind of a tool to feel more productive and building the habit of drawing every day, became more of a diary more and more. Many of the drawings show an emotion or a feeling or a moment that I wanted to capture that day. And when I realized that, I kept going with the book because now I was kind of doing it out of a new motivation. In the beginning, I wanted to do it to feel productive and like I achieved something in the day. But in the end, I did it because I wanted to keep a happy memory and look back while flipping through the pages. And that makes it very personal and special for me. Even when an entire month is missing, it still makes me happy because I know what happened that month. And this book reminds me of it. So, yeah, I'm really glad I did it. Right now, I realized that I've said everything actually that I could say about this daily doodle diary, or at least everything that comes to my mind right now. And the actual sketchbook tour takes a bit longer, but that's no problem, so I'll just let you watch the last pages with some relaxing music and then I'll come back to you afterwards. Enjoy! I think this book is one of the few sketchbooks I actually finished so far. Usually when it comes to sketchbooks, I tend to not finish them, or not very fast at least, and always start new ones for whatever reasons. I don't know, maybe you can relate to that. But with this one, I'm really happy. Although I didn't manage to fill every day or every page, and at some point even skipped a whole month, I still feel very fulfilled and very happy with this challenge. It really became kind of a diary in the end, and actually that's what I love most about this, just flipping through the pages and remembering all the mostly happy times that day. So yeah, maybe I do another one in the future. We will see. For now, I hope that you like this video and maybe feel a bit inspired to try around yourself. I mean, the year has just begun. You can still start your own book. And with that being said, I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye!